All right, let's get started. Welcome everyone to the Solar Utilities Reporting Guidance and Education or SURGE Outreach and Education Plan Workshop. My name is Brittany Amagata and I am the Senior Outreach Consultant for the SURGE initiative directed by the California Public Utilities Commission. I am joined today with Amber Murakami-Fester from the CPUC and SURGE team members Christina Salcedo, Grace Turney, Sylvia Lynn, and Ariana Fernandez. Today, we will be presenting on the Outreach and Education Plan efforts for AB 2143 and PUC 769.2. Before we get started, I just wanted to share a quick disclaimer. This presentation will focus on the overall outreach and education efforts for AB 2143 and PUC 769.2. And unfortunately, this workshop will not cover technical support for these statutes. If you have specific questions about how to determine prevailing wages or preparing certified payroll records, please visit the California Department of Industrial Relations website or the SURGE website for these resources. You can also call or email the SURGE support team for specific technical support. Thank you. These are the workshop ground rules. The webinar is being recorded and we will send this recording along with a copy of the presentation to all folks who are in attendance. Microphones will be muted throughout the presentation. And if you have any questions, please use the Q&A feature and we will answer the questions at the end of this webinar and also provide a written Q&A document after this event. And another reminder, please be respectful of other participants and presenters as we are here to share information and learn together. This is our agenda for today. We will go over the background for AB 2143 and PUC 769.2. We will discuss the outreach and education plan with a 2024 recap and planned activities for 2025. Then we will wrap up with feedback, next steps, and Q&A. Now I'm going to pass it over to Amber so that she will go over the background. Thank you.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Amber Murakami-Fester. I'm a regulatory analyst with the Public Utilities Commission. I just wanted to start off by providing a little bit of background on AB 2143 and PUC 769.2. So that's Assembly Bill 2143 and Public Utilities Code 769.2. The bill essentially added Section 769.2 into the Public Utilities Code. So for today's purposes, they're essentially kind of interchangeable. But the code says that renewable energy generation facilities on commercial or large residential buildings will constitute public works, and that contractors who work on these projects need to submit certified payroll records to the CPUC beginning January 1st of 2024. So if you wanted to find a little bit more legislative background on the bill and the implementation processes, you can go to the CPUC website. At this link, you can also Google, CPUC prevailing wage, and it should pop up pretty quickly. We have been working with GCAP services for a little bit over a year now to develop the SURGE initiative to support contractors with three main goals. The first being to offer guidance for the submission process of these payroll records. The second, to build a record submission portal, or the SURGE compliance portal via the physical website. And then thirdly, to provide resources for any assistance that contractors would need to get into compliance with prevailing wage requirements. So next slide, please. So a key part of GCAP's outreach and education efforts is this outreach and education plan. So this is a plan that outlines the activities that they are performing and will perform to inform contractors and other stakeholders impacted by the bill. They are also required to maintain and update this plan on an annual basis and to host a webinar. So the purpose of this webinar is to share the results of the outreach and education efforts from this past year, and then provide an update for 2025 looking forward. So yeah, glad to hand it back over to Brittany or Christina.
Thanks, Amber. So I'm going to be covering the 2024 Outreach and Education recap. Throughout 2024, our outreach efforts focused on three things majorly. The first being raising awareness for AB 2143, the compliance requirements, and making sure that our solar contractors knew what those were. The second, building resources for ease of access. And the third, improving communication channels. So we can go to the next slide. Here are sort of the 6 main areas that we focused on, and we focused on increasing visibility and engagement with contractors and stakeholders. So I'll kind of cover each one of these so we can jump into the next slide. The first, logo, branding, and the website. So one of the first items that we worked on was creating the Surge website. And with that, creating the Surge logo and the branding guide. It was important for us to design outreach materials that were consistent with our branding guide in terms of colors, fonts, logos, and ensure that we were aligning our messages to convey a consistent narrative. And then for the website, not only did we include information on the Surge initiative, but kind of a wider angle lens, we wanted to provide information on the AB 2143 requirements. We have areas like the education tab where there are a wide variety of materials for our contractors and stakeholders, and the FAQs. And then we also wanted to provide different avenues for contractors and stakeholders to reach out to the Surge team with their questions or concerns. We can go into the next slide. Then we jump into the Surge compliance portal. So while we were creating the website, we were also creating the Surge compliance portal, which is hosted on the submittable system. And this is where contractors come to register as a contractor to register their eligible projects, and to submit copies of their certified payroll submissions. So we see some numbers on the right-hand side of the screen here. These were pulled through the month of October. So we have over 189 contractor registrations on the portal, over 102 project registrations, and over 115 certified payroll submissions. And these numbers grow each day. You can jump to the next slide. So touching on outreach materials, we offer a wide variety. You can see here we have our flyers and fact sheets, and these touch on anything from what is AB 2143 and PUC 769.2 to when to upload certified payroll and how to navigate the Surge compliance portal. And we also have our e-blasts or email blasts, and this covers anything from education materials to updates on recent or upcoming webinars. And we really wanted to ensure that the outreach and education materials were formatted for easy consumption by contractors and stakeholders. We also wanted to ensure that they were compatible with things like smartphones, computers, and tablets. And we made sure to release these materials sort of gradually throughout the year, focusing primarily on the February and March months. So we can jump to the next slide. Then we have our informational webinars and workshops. So we participated in 2 partner events with SOMA earlier this year, one on February 28th, another one on March 21st. We co-hosted one webinar with the Department of Industrial Relations Labor Commissioner's Office. This was highly requested from contractors and stakeholders, so we were really fortunate that we were able to do so. And that took place in May on the 29th. We then hosted 3 solo Surge webinars and workshops. So the first one in April that covered AB 2143 requirements and Surge requirements and the Surge compliance portal. And then our 2 workshops in June, we really wanted to kind of prep contractors for that first deadline that was on July 1st. All these events were held virtually, and across the board, we can see some metrics on the right-hand side here. There were 638 registered attendees. Of those registered attendees, 514 attended the actual events. And then we received over 230 questions from these events, and then went on to create Q&A documents, which we provided to attendees, and also they sit on our website as well, so that contractors and stakeholders could access these answers. We can go to the next slide. For contractor communications, we wanted to ensure that there were accessible avenues for not only stakeholders in order for them to provide feedback, but also for contractors to get the guidance and education that they needed. So we have things like our surge hotline that can be, we can be made available at 1-800-549-2143, and we receive between 50 to 100 calls per month. We then have our different email addresses here. So info@cpucsurge.org, reporting@cpucsurge.org, and outreach@cpucsurge.org. And we receive over 1,600 emails kind of across these different email addresses. And then we have our chatbot available that is currently up and running on the website and can provide some more general information if you need it. We can go to the next slide. So in addition to those kind of 6 areas, we also have additional outreach efforts. The first one being one-on-one support. So during the month of June, the Surge support team offered one-on-one support to contractors who needed assistance navigating the Surge compliance portal and AB 2143 requirements. Contractors were able to book 10 to 15-minute virtual sessions via Microsoft Teams with one of our members. And this was designed to help contractors prepare for the July 1st deadline to submit their certified payroll to the Surge compliance portal. We then implemented Constant Contact. So that's Constant Contact software to track emails and communications to contractors and stakeholders. And it also provided a streamlined approach for outreach. Going into the email campaigns. So starting in August of 2024, the Surge team created a weekly email campaign to update contractors on resources, deadlines, and other important information that was relevant to AB 2143. We also developed contractor compliance guides. So we created walkthrough videos and step-by-step guides for contractor registration, project registration, and certified payroll submission in the Surge compliance portal. We also implemented the 90, 60, 30-day notifications. So this was implemented to reduce the number of non-compliant contractors and increase the timely submission of payrolls. So we developed a 90, 60, 30-day notification timeline to inform contractors about the upcoming reporting deadlines. And then finally, we have our DIR resources that were put onto the Surge website. So to help provide all available AB 2143 resources to contractors, we included links to DIR resources and trainings that are made available on the Surge website under the Education tab. So now that I have sort of covered the 2024 recap, I am going to hand it back over to Brittany, who's going to cover 2025.
All right. Thank you so much, Christina. So yes, I'm going to be covering their 2025 outreach and education planned activities. Here is our goals and objectives for outreach and education activities for 2025, and these are the major areas of focus for the upcoming year. We are really touching in on more outreach events, and then for our outreach materials, we want to focus on accessibility and translation. We also have goals and objectives for contractor submissions and, meeting that compliance rate. We want to increase contractor awareness and knowledge, and also start, utilizing our partnerships and collaborations with various like solar organizations and other stakeholders impacted by Assembly Bill 2143. So each of these are all different goals. So we'll go into each one of them and kind of dive deeper into what the goals are and what objectives each of them have under it. So for our first goal here is to enhance contractor and stakeholder awareness of AB 2143 and PUC 769 compliance requirements through planned and coordinated outreach events. And as you can, from the slides that Christina shared earlier, we did all of the events virtually this year, but we wanted to, expand and do more in-person events so that we have direct engagement with contractors and stakeholders. So the objectives for this goal is to develop a 2025 event calendar, which will allow us to strategically plan and coordinate outreach efforts throughout the year. And then also participating in solar-related in-person events throughout California, North, Central, and Southern, which will provide the direct engagement with contractors and stakeholders, as I mentioned. And then also hosting the annual ONE workshop again for 2026, just like this workshop, and to gain feedback to further improve outreach efforts on an annual basis. So we really take this, outreach and education plan seriously. We want to ensure that we are reaching all of the contractors and stakeholders who are subject to AB 2143 so that you understand compliance requirements and that, this is not a burden on anybody as we move forward. All right, for goal 2 is to improve outreach and education materials with the focus on accessibility and language translation. So Surge will work to ensure that there is a transparent process for requesting translated materials and accessibility requests. And the objectives for 2025 include developing a statement for language translation to place on a prominent site on the website for our and also our materials, which will help inform contractors and stakeholders that they can request translated materials, ensuring that they understand what resources are available to them. And then also developing a straightforward process for translation and accessibility requests and ensuring that that process is transparent to all stakeholders. And then the next objective or the next two objectives are kind of similar to each other. So this is really just auditing and making updates to existing materials to identify accessibility gaps. And some accessibility gaps is like, for example, lacking alternative text for images or, offering large print font, flyers and fact sheets, and then also following web content accessibility guidelines or the WCAG guidelines for web content. All right. Now moving on to our next goal. Our goal 3 is to increase contractor compliance rates for submitting copies of certified payroll records mandated by AB 2143 and PUC 769.2 via the Surge compliance portal. Surge will complete this by ensuring that all contractors who are subject to AB 2143 and PUC 769 have completed their contractor registration. So that is the first objective here. And then also additionally, Surge aims to achieve 100% submission of copies of certified payroll records for all qualified projects that are already registered on the Surge compliance portal. So we will work to, to help us with this, we will work to identify areas to streamline internal processes for reviewing submission, especially from contractor inquiries that require Surge responses. Okay. Goal 4 is to streamline educational materials and resources to enhance contractor knowledge of AB 2143 and PUC 769 compliance requirements. And basically the objective here is to review and update the outreach materials to help simplify the information to provide better understanding of compliance requirements. And then also create a contractor response template to standardize responses for similar, issues that contractors are facing so that we are, giving the same information to everybody. And ensuring that outreach materials are updated regularly and they reflect any changes in the legislation or compliance process. Our final goal, goal 5, is to strengthen partnerships and collaborate with solar organizations to share information on AB 2143 and PUC 769.2. This is to meet with solar organizations and participate in meetings or other opportunities to collaborate, identify points of contact to share outreach materials, develop outreach packets to share with partners and their networks. And basically this goal is, this year we really focus on getting the word out there about Surge. And now we want to ensure that we have, we strengthen the partnerships that we have with different organizations, stakeholders, so that, we can be, we can have a partnership and collaborate on, ensuring that contractors are aware of AB 2143 and meet the compliance requirement. All right, so this kind of wraps up all of the 2025 goals and objectives for this presentation. We're moving on to the next slide, which is why we're here today, is really we want feedback by December 2nd from all of the stakeholders and all of the people on the call today. Our full draft plan is available on the Surge website. Grace also placed it on the Q&A. And we are asking everyone to please provide feedback by December 2nd. There are two ways to provide feedback. You can complete the annual outreach survey, which is our preferred method because it asks specific questions regarding the plan. Or if you have a comment that doesn't, jive with the survey, you can send an email to our outreach at cpucsurge.org. Additionally, we will send an email after this webinar with all of the information that you need to provide feedback. And we hope that you can complete this survey as we value your input to improve outreach and education efforts for Surge and also contractor compliance understanding of AB 2143 and PUC 769.2. All right. So this is our next steps. From now until December 2nd at 5 p.m., we will be accepting public comment and feedback for the draft outreach and education plan for 2025. Then Surge will review all of the feedback between December 2nd to the 6th, and we will start to incorporate those changes. The plan will go off to CPUC for final review and comments. And then once we get that, go ahead, we will be posting the final O&E plan for 2025 on December 18th, no later than December 18th. So that will be available, and we will send that out to all the folks who are participating in this call today. And then that kind of wraps up, our workshop for today. I know we kind of went through that quickly. Thank you again for taking time to join us for the workshop. If you have any questions, please feel free to add them to the Q&A now. Please visit the Surge website if you would like to learn more and view resources and information for contractors. And also we included our contact information again here. For general inquiries, you can email info@cpucsurge.org. For questions related to the event or, specifically outreach and education, please email outreach@cpucsurge.org. And then if you are reporting your certified payroll records or you have a question about, the Surge compliance portal, you can email either the info email address, or you can also email the reporting@cpucsurge.org. And then if you want us to, connect with you directly, phone call is always good. You can call us at 1-800-549-2143, and that hotline is available Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 p.m., 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then also just to note, we are on LinkedIn. So if you want any notifications for events like this or other information that we share, we do provide, weekly updates on our LinkedIn page for like any quick tips or resources that we have, events that we are hosting or attending. Please follow us on LinkedIn, and that's another avenue that you can get our information from. All right. And then thank you again for joining. I don't see any questions in the Q&A. But we can wait for a moment to see if anyone adds. Oh, we do have questions, sorry. All right, so we have a question from, let's see, Angela. And she's asking, are there any upcoming events where we can get in-depth DIR compliance training before the end of the year? If so, can you provide the details on those events? Yes, I'm gonna ask Ariana if she could share information about the DIR, where you can find the DIR training.
Thanks, Brittany. Yes, so the DIR does host several workshops throughout the year. It does look like the last one for this year was on November 7th, but I will drop the link, or we'll send out the link to register for the future webinars to all the participants. But it is posted on the DIR's website. If you just go to the Public Works page, and then on the bottom right-hand corner, there's a link to their support center, which will detail all of their upcoming webinars for next year.
Okay, and then I do see a question from Amy. She said, I thought this was going to be informative about when this was required and how to do it. Can you please tell us what the requirements are? Yeah, sorry, Amy. But the presentation today is focusing on the outreach and education efforts for AB 2143. We do have resources on our website at cpucsurge.org. That you can view. We have walkthrough videos to explain all of the different forms that we have on the Surge Compliance portal, and we also have previous previous events that we recorded and have the recording for. And I suggest that you watch the event, the Surge webinar with the DIR, and we can send all those links to you after this call. Okay. And then we do have a question from Sandra, again, or not again, sorry, but for Ariana. She's asking, how do I acquire a DIR number for my project? I need to register in your portal.
Yes, so there should be a link on the DIR's website where you can go to apply for your contractor registration. We also have a direct link posted on our website as well, so we can email that out again after the presentation.
Okay, thanks, Ariana. And then John has a question about our SMUD projects. Sorry, I kind of lost that. Our SMUD projects subject to AB 2143. And that's probably Sylvia or Ariana that can answer that.
Yeah, I can go ahead and take that. This is Sylvia. I'm sorry, could you reread that question? Is it SDGE projects and whether they're subject to AB 2143?
It says SMUD, SMUD.
If you could define what that acronym represents, again, we're not experts in all of the kind of the utilities side of this and the different types of programs and connection language. Again, if you look at our website, you'll see all of the requirements and what projects are subject, but essentially it's going to be any commercial project that does not fall within one of the three exceptions to the Assembly bill, which is, single family residence. Is it already a public works project that is maybe funded by state and or federal dollars, or a modular home community? And so long as the project is in the territory of one of the three investor-owned utilities, meaning SCE, PG&E, SDGE, those projects, and is going to be a recipient of the NEM tariff. So those are going to be the projects that fall within those requirements. Your question, you may need to reach out to the applicable utility in terms of that SMUD.
And Sylvia, John just put that SMUD is Sacramento Metropolitan Utility District.
Ah, very good. Thank you. That helps a lot because that sounds like a municipal utility. So the NEM tariff is most likely not applicable to a municipal utility. So again, it's only going to be the investor-owned utilities, which are the PG&E, SCE, SDGE. So most likely your project is not going to be subject because you're not receiving the NEM tariff.
Thank you, Sylvia. And then Yulia is asking, do we need to register a project on Surge if it has not started yet?
I'll go ahead and take that one as well. If the project is if it's going to start soon, so if you've already filed for your interconnection number with the utility, and let's say the project's going to start in the next few months or something, then yes. And if you've already registered as a contractor within Surge, we do encourage you to register the project and to make sure to put your interconnection number, of course, and your projected start date.
Thank you, Sylvia, again. It looks like that was the last question we have, so we can just wait a minute or two to see if anything else comes in. All right. I think we are good then. We will be publishing all of these questions in a Q&A document, and we will also send a follow-up email to everybody with all of the resources that we mentioned today on the call. And we hope that you submit the annual survey for the outreach and, let us know how we're doing and what we can do to improve, our future outreach and education efforts. If you have any questions again, please feel free to contact us at info@cpucsearch.org or call us at 1-800-549-2143. Thank you so much, everybody, for attending, and hope you have a great day.